Is the media being fair in the way that it's covering the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard case after the trial? Now, I'm not going to pretend that I can answer for every single newspaper or every single issue that's being covered, but there's one issue that's getting a lot of media attention, and there's a pretty clear answer on whether the media is getting it right or not. Hi, everybody. I'm Harvard lawyer Lee. This channel is all about the intersection between law and life. So let's get into what the newspapers have said about Johnny Depp. Here's what they've been saying. This is from the Evening Standard. Take a look at this particular headline. Johnny Depp tried to show nude photos of Amber Heard and hint she was escort. Unsealed court documents show. Now, from the Independent, Johnny Depp sought to submit nude photos of Amber Heard as evidence at defamation trial. Unsealed documents suggest. From Cosmopolitan, Johnny Depp wanted to include nude photos of Amber Heard in his evidence at trial. And from Pop Crush, unsealed court documents reveal Johnny Depp tried to submit Amber Heard nude photos as evidence. Report. And finally, from SC, this title, Johnny tried to use Amber's nudes against her in their trial. Here's how he wanted to use them as evidence. So I want to talk today about whether or not that is fair coverage. I want to show you the actual unsealed documents, and you can decide for yourself whether you think those headlines are fair. Let me explain what the unsealed documents are. During the course of the trial, the court sealed a number of documents at the request of the party, meaning the court didn't release them or make them public. Many of the documents were public, but not certain ones. And about 2 weeks ago, since the trial had ended, the court said, I don't want to have these under seal anymore. There's no need for that, and released those, made them available to the public. So those unsealed documents contain, well, frankly, there are a lot of unsealed documents, but the ones I want to talk about today are the motions in limine. Now, motions in limine are motions that a lawyer would file before the trial gets started, where the lawyer is going to ask the judge to make rulings about the trial before it happens. You would do that particularly with pieces of evidence that you want to keep out, because you might say in advance, Judge, I think the other side might offer this particular evidence, and therefore I want you to rule that out. The most frequent grounds that lawyers will cite is that I think that evidence is irrelevant, meaning it doesn't have anything to do with this case, or that I think that the prejudice outweighs the probative value. And what that means is just that it's going to hurt one side, and there's not a lot of value to the case. The jury isn't going to get a lot more information or understanding from this evidence. So if you balance it out, Judge, the prejudice, the bad effect to one party is a lot greater than the value to the case. So I ask you to exclude it. Those are probably the two most common reasons that people cite in their motions in limine. In this particular case, both sides asked the court to rule on more than 20 different issues before trial started. So let's talk specifically about what Amber Heard asked in her motion in limine that I think is the basis of these headlines. Here's what she asked. Mr. Depp inappropriately seeks to introduce evidence of the following irrelevant personal matters. And we're going to talk about number 1, nude pictures of Amber Heard, and number 4, Amber's brief stint as an exotic dancer years before she met Mr. Depp, and Mr. Depp attempting to frivolously and maliciously suggest or imply that Ms. Heard was at one time an escort. So that's what Amber Heard was asking. And she asked for the usual reason. She said that it's irrelevant to the case, and she said that the prejudice to me would outweigh any probative, helpful value it would have for the jury. And so, Judge, you should keep it out. Pretty classic argument. Now, another thing you need to know about a motion in limine is that you might file a motion in limine as an attorney if you know the other side is going to use evidence at trial and you don't think they should, but you also might file a motion in limine if you don't know whether the other side is going to use evidence, but you think they might, because you want to make sure that the evidence gets ruled out. Once the barn door is open, the horses are out. And that's how it is with a jury trial. Once the jury hears some information, hears some evidence, they can't just unhear that. They can't pretend that they never heard it. It's in their heads. So many times one side will ask the court to rule, even though that side doesn't know yet whether or not the other side is going to use the evidence. They still want the evidence out. And that's pretty much what happened here. Here's what Johnny Depp's team responded. Now, in this pleading, what Johnny Depp says to the court and to Amber Heard is that Mr. Depp does not, and he underlines that word, does not currently anticipate introducing evidence of the nude pictures or Miss Heard's stint as a stripper or rumors that she was an escort early in her career. And Johnny Depp also notes that he doesn't even have any exhibits listed that would relate to those issues. Now, Johnny Depp did ask the court to deny the motion, at least in part, so that there could be an additional ruling at trial if the evidence became relevant. Now, that's something lawyers commonly do if it's possible that evidence could become relevant, even though it's not something that you presently plan to use. For example, Johnny Depp's team argued that although nude pictures were not something they planned to introduce, if there came a time in trial when Amber claimed she had an injury and there was a photo that would disprove that, then they felt like they should have the right to use that, or to at least argue to the court at that time that we think the picture is relevant and now we think it should be introduced. Although up until then, we didn't plan to use it. That's pretty normal, that there would be some right to go back to the court if evidence becomes relevant during the middle of the trial by what's happening at the trial. So that's what Johnny Depp did with evidence that was embarrassing or damaging to Amber Heard. Let's go back now and let's take a look at those newspaper headlines and evaluate whether or not they fairly described what happened. So from the Evening Standard, Johnny Depp tried to show nude photos of Amber Heard and hint she was escort. That's, I believe, inaccurate, because what Johnny Depp said was he did not, underlined it, plan to use those documents. From the Independent, Johnny Depp sought to submit nude photos of Amber Heard as evidence at defamation trial. Unsealed dots suggest. Again, I don't think that would be accurate. Third one, Cosmopolitan. Johnny Depp wanted to include nude photos of Amber Heard in his evidence at trial. In fact, he said he did not want to, even underline the word. And now from Pop Crush, unsealed court documents revealed Johnny Depp tried to submit Amber Heard nude photos as evidence. That would be unfair because he did not try to submit those. And number 5, from SC, Johnny tried to use Amber's nudes against her in their trial. Here's how he wanted to use them as evidence. Now, in each of those cases, the statement was that Johnny Depp wanted to use that evidence, but that's inaccurate because Johnny Depp said he did not intend to use that evidence at trial. So in my opinion, those are unfair headlines that don't accurately represent what Johnny Depp actually stated in his court pleadings. If you enjoyed this video, I know you'd like these other two. They're about the most important pieces of evidence at trial and how Amber Heard lost her credibility. I'm in a series on that, and these are the first two. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.